Let's find out. I have to say, I'm not digging the new OBS at all. I'm literally not digging it at all. Encoder error. Let's see if it's going to do the same thing again. Yeah, OBS. OBS, you let me down. I updated to the new version. I'm regretting it. I think I'm going to roll it backwards to the older one because this is quite crap. It took me a moment to notice. But hey, let's go back. Pop on a new one. Can't believe it let me down, man. That was awful. Oh well, continue on. If it fails again, it fails again, and we try it a different way. Instead of streaming from OBS, we'll connect through the browser. That's actually what I should have did the first time it failed. No. What a mess. What a mess. So now I'm gonna be trying to keep my eyeball glued to that little live button. Alright, it's at least closer to me that way. Or closer to where I'm working. Come on, cut. Cut, cut, cut. Out of everything you could possibly do, this is my least favorite. I hate removing digitizers. Anything in this fashion is just bothersome. Definitely still stuck down some there. That's fine. Alright, that makes sense. That's the screen. Let's do that one. Here's my question. Is this thing even going to come off of here without a bigger fight? Because I believe it is sealed to this screen. And if that's the case, we're messing around for no reason. Unless there's an air gap. I just don't want to ram anything in there and find out. But it looks like there is adhesive there. At least some type of layer of it. I suppose if we have to, we order a new screen. It's really the only thing that you can infer at this point that you have all the adhesive cut loose and this outer glass is still not coming off is that it's still sealed here. But if that's the case, what is that there if there's no air gap? Let's keep going. Find out if there's an air gap or if it's got liquid optically clear adhesive sticking the LCD to the digitizer. Because it really looks like it. You can just see it start moving. Unless we did the dumb thing and we're between let's go with that. Let's see if we can change what we're doing here real quick. I've had that happen before trying to peel these apart, where you get between the glass and the actual digitizer layer. Yeah, without a doubt, that screen is sealed. Or is it? It is so hard to tell. No, there. Let's find out. I'm willing to bet digitizer doesn't work at this point. That's fine. We pulled it from our junk pile. And what we're okay, so I'm saying there's an air gap here. And I think I actually did go. We might be between the layers, which is horrible, but we haven't gone too far yet. I just want to lift it out of there to clean it, but that's senseless at this point. Let's see what this thing is, see if we can find. Oh, yeah, right. Let me look at my Amazon account. I think that'll tell me what it is. Oh, pull that up real quick over here. Gimme. One, two. Manage content and devices. See if we can get the part for it. Devices. Okay. Wow. 7 gen. All right, let's find out if it's whether HD 8. All right, let's find out what we're looking at here. So they do sell it. So there's got to be an air gap in there. Sadly, I think we started peeling the digitizer off, but yeah, it was in the junk pile anyhow. So we'll get it off there, try and save tempering the glass of the screen. Uh, not advertising for anybody, but just going to, does that not pull that up? It does not. Let me try. Ah, there, finally. So they do sell, it's a Fire HD8 10th generation. The other one works, it's just cracked. So I think what we can do, we'll just order the digitizer and plan on peeling this one off of here. The screen works fine, and then won't have to worry about a screen that has been through liquid damage. But I figured since it was the right screen, we'd give it a shot. But 100% we have to be going between the glass and digitizer, just because I don't think these are meant to be pulled apart. They're such cheap things. Or I did it completely wrong. Take your pick. Yeah, 100%. So let's lift it off of here. In the odd case that it's going to work, which I doubt it will. Or at the very least, we'll be nice and prepared for when we get the digitizer in, because I am going to have to order one. Ouch. So now we can see definitely an air gap. Question answered. Now I know. Oh, we can probably just get away with the digitizer, not a whole screen. The whole idea was to not order anything and use this, but when you start peeling the digitizer off, I don't know how that's going to fare down the road, but we'll still give it a shot, see if it works. If it does, I'm guessing that's all going to be a matter of adhesive at that point. Will it stay together if you didn't ruin it? We got to strip that board out of there now. It's not going to have anywhere to go unless we do. Let's do quick surgery. What encoder error did we have? Before, that was crap. I've never seen that happen, but it can happen at any time, I suppose. Alright, screw. Alright, we're going to pull our board, hopefully. What is standing in our way? A little bit of adhesive? Camera? Nope, camera's good. This model should have adhesive here. Is it there? It is. And where is it? Go. Yes, donezo. That's good. Damn, that's it. And I'll tell you why. Because we just killed our ribbon. But free screen from the junk pile, you can't complain. And we're going to put a $10 digitizer on this tablet to fix it instead of thinking it needed a whole screen. So plus whatever shipping cost, I guess that's a factor as well. Okay, good to know. So you got magnets to deal with. Oh yeah, we definitely shredded our ribbon cable. That's a hell of a spot to take it out. Sad, I wanted to see if it would work, but answer to the question, were the marks on the inside or outside, and I was just being lazy and couldn't clean it? Let's find out. Definitely inside. Alright, fair enough. So we have a screen we can clean up the adhesive, snap the digitizer right on there, or go through the same process with the actual working tablet. But we're going to leave it working for now. Clean this up and stick a new digitizer on this, and then we'll have it. So, got to order that in, but it is ready for transplant. So we'll set that to the side. I want to see if the screen works. Is the main thing. Will it work after going through water? Was the question I wanted to answer. But ripping that digitizer off or shredding that actually ruined the answering if the digitizer works. So now we'll wait a couple days for the digitizer to show up. All right, let's move on to something else. What do we want to see? Do we want to... I have to redo a shop computer. My shop computer. Did we die? No, we didn't die. It seems like we're on a massive, massive delay. Huh. Well, let me find out where we're at. Okay, so not bad. We're a few seconds behind. Why is Restream showing something different? Okay, so I have a shop computer. My shop computer, that normally the Dell that sits right there. I have... We don't need that or that right now. Possible future project, but more than likely not. Shop computer in an inverted case, probably one of the worst cases ever. But I'm going to put it in it just to show what you can do with a, how do I want to say it? What you can do with like a pre-built if you change the case. Just to show some people it'll kind of be like a display, even though it is going to be what I do all the invoicing and everything on. And then I have, what else do we have here? I have an HP Omen that I bought that some stuff is not working on. Nothing major. I'm sure it's an easy fix. I haven't looked at it yet. And I have this thing that came off the telescope. This is a sighting off of my telescope. This is a sighting scope, and it got ripped apart by little fingers at one point, and they ripped the crosshair out. So there's some very fine wire. We get to do bouncy microscope though, if I go that way. Or shop computer, or what was the other thing I said? I can't even remember. Oh, HP Omen. Gotta make a decision. Let's take a look at this for a quick minute anyhow. We're here. We can pull the super bouncy scope out and see. Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work. Is it this one? It is. There we go. Right, so we're zoomed out. This is kind of what we're looking at. I think we have a bit of cleanup to do. Let's go in and look. Well, we can kind of look here now. So we have... Don't point it black with black. So, where are we? This mark And this mark is where you would put a screwdriver or something to loosen this, which it's already loose, and then there to here and here to there is where the crosshair would go. Let's try and take a look. So it was as simple as just some old glue, old super glue, holding it together. See, I kind of wonder if we'd do better to tear this out of there. Ah, we get a phone call. Give me a second here. What is this? Where is it? Where is it? Get the microphone working again. Ho, ho, ho. I don't hate taking phone calls, but I don't like taking phone calls whenever I'm live. But, yeah, I don't have a secretary or anything. So let's dig some of this old glue out of here and continue on with fixing the crosshair on this thing. Sorry about the bouncy scope. I have my microscope on an arm. It's like a monitor arm that was built way worse than any monitor arm I've ever seen, so I'm going to upgrade that as soon as I can. It looks like a sparkle from something. Nice. Alright, there's some glue. We'll see about digging this stuff out and trying to put a new crosshair in. Literally, it's just going to be wire glued in place. We're going to do it the same way they did it. That. One more to clean out, and then we'll attempt to glue some wire in. Let's actually tighten this thing down so it quits hopping around, moving. Alright, tighten down. Let's stab ourselves in the hand. There we go. You can kind of see where there was a wire laid across there on the right-hand side of that, hopefully. Something was just barely laid in there. Right there. Very tiny, thin wire. So we're going to go ahead and use some wire that we would use for running, you know, a jumper or whatever, replacing a pad, and we'll put it in there and try and glue it in place. Yeah, it appears we're still live. All right. I'm watching different things, so I don't really know where we're at. Restream was way behind, so I'm going to actually get out of there, and we'll rely on watching it on YouTube. Okay, so about 10 to 15 seconds behind, where it was minutes behind on Restream. They've been having problems lately, man. Like, we literally couldn't start the stream from there the other day. Had to do it a different way, and then now today, encoder problem. Restream, fix your problem. There's a lot of people throughout this world paying you guys a lot of money for you to be having simple problems like that. And I don't understand their process of what they do and how all they do it. But you guys got to figure it out. Let's look at this thing here for a minute too. So it kind of makes sense, and I was When looking at this, I thought I might try and modify it. I was going to try and cut, if you can see the profile of this thing, I was going to try and cut a small groove the whole way around this. I'm like, no, that's silly to take and hand cut a groove in there, like with a file or something. And it would really minimize, like the wire, you could get it nice and tight too, rather than having two pieces, just glue one side, pull it, glue the other side, and do that. You could actually glue one, pull it across, wrap it around the groove, add some more glue, pull it, and kind of wrap it around and fold it in, add a little more glue. You'd have a way to tension it better than just the glue, but we're just going to go with the glue. Glue and wire method. Let's yank this thing apart. I definitely don't want any glue getting on the lens. Set that off to the side, and let's try and glue some wire in here. Wow, we really bent those tweezers. I think first we're going to try 44 gauge wire and see what it looks like, and get a piece glued in, check it on the actual, by putting it on the rest of the housing, the rest of the sighting scope body, and then if it looks okay, we'll put the other piece on and be done. What a way to put a crosshair on something. Or if that's how it's really done. Get any people that know guns out there and crosshairs and scopes? How do they do it? Wire and glue? Is that the secret? Oh boy, super glue's glued shut. What a great day. Keep twisting. There we go. Way too much, of course. So we're going to try and clean that up away from our threads. And one of the bad things about using small wire, it's hard to find when you lose it. We'll grab another piece of it. Alright, so we're going to clip it, and I kept the wire super long, that way it would be easy to deal with. Let's see if this will even cut. It will. Alright, so we'll put one side in place, then the other. And clip it, and let it sit. I can see a definite need for one side needing to be dry to get tension on it. Going to be straight enough for our purposes. Come on, we're making scientific equipment here. What more could you want? That's what I wanted to do with the longer wire the first time, was wrap it underneath, get some weight on it, tension, hold this down on it, and pull it across nice and straight. However, I don't think... I'm going to hold it for a little bit here, let it dry. It's thick CA glue to begin with, so no, I'm not having fun. Thanks for asking, Steve. All this small micro stuff is not my friend. I'm going to try and get this wire pulled around to the back side and actually spin it, and then I'll clip it afterwards, but I want to find a way to keep it tight. That's the goal. And it broke. Okay, let's try and get it closer. No dice. Or at least wrapped around though. Around the bottom. I haven't a clue how to do this. Like what is the most common sense way to not have to play with any of it? You can see where I was spinning them and then it just broke off. Let's try to resume that. Holding it with tweezers, I doubt it's going to work. It seems like a job that, what those guys that sit and tie flies, fishing lures, that seems like something that they would be good at, because it's definitely not me, let me tell you that. What I would really like to happen is those to squeeze together and be able to twist it one way or the other. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I thought. It's just going to keep twisting and breaking one side off. Like so. Get out of there. So close to actually having it work. Question is the other side tight? If it is, we'll let it be. Turn it over and touch it right here, ruin it. Yeah, not super tight, but tight enough that I think it'll work. As long as it dries, we'll put another dab of glue on there. We can easily snap this stuff off later. Alright, one in. Let's go for number 2. We need a long piece of wire. We're going to wrap it around and attempt to do something similar. Nobody out there that ties flies like fishing lures, lure? I don't know how to say that word. Somebody got to have some advice for me. How do I get these wires nice and tight across there? Rather than glue one and come back to it later. That's not an acceptable answer. And we just put a kink right in the middle of it. Not good. If it breaks, it breaks. We do it over. Okay, let's find out. Let's clip this off so don't go out and hit the other one. So we're going to try and get a little dab of glue on there. So we'll clip that other piece of wire later. The stuff that's in the threading, and that's way too much. Use our tweezers. Alright, very good, very well. We got one side. Now we just have to mess it up and do the other just like it. I'm going to try and zoom out and clean some of that off of there. It's probably where we really mess it up, but so I'm trying to work out as a way to hold this thing steady. So I think that blob of glue we got there is going to fit the bill on this one. We have one to go, and we'll redab those other two and be done with it. Set it to the side. Yeah, let's get, oh, that's nice, right on my glove. Let's get rid of some of that. It makes a smaller field of view that I have to work within, so. Definitely not having fun now on these small wires. Small wires never fun to work with though, so. And what did we stick to? We just flung it everywhere. The piece is completely turned around. Let's try and save our project. It's the glue that's on the end of these tweezers. So that one we want over there and glued. probably best focus I can get with the subject matter we're looking at. Tell me that's going to droop down in there on that wire. That'd be perfect. Okay, I'm going with it. What do we think? Is that going to hold? I hope so. So this will go back on my telescope as my sighting scope. I mean, not that you couldn't use it as it was, there just wasn't no crosshair, you know, so you had the eyeball center. So as soon as that glue dries, let's clip our wire. Get out of here with that noise. Let's clip our wire off. We'll leave a little bit out to pull if we need to, but we're going to try and clip it without moving it very much. Alright, there's one. We still have these other ones to clip off. I'm going to keep them there. We could actually I think that's about as tight as we're going to get it. So before the wire snaps and I fly through the whole crosshair center, we're going to consider that good. Clip our little pieces out of there, let that dry. Well, let it dry, then clip the pieces out. Oh, what time is it? Let's move on. 5:20 to another project. Oh, coffee, cold coffee. Okay, for anybody joined late, and frame of reference, what we were doing is, let's get that out of there. Turn the light off. So we have this eyepiece that once that is threaded in, that piece threads in on this side of the eyepiece, and then this will be super glued together. And I don't want to drop that lens in there down, so no glue on my finger. All right. When you look through, that crosshair that we made is going to show up. Like you'll have a place to sight, like what star or what you're looking at. If you're looking at one of the planets, the moon, it's fairly big in it. Yeah, we can put this back together and then it'll go back on my telescope. Little fingers took and ripped it apart, so. And this doesn't even really come off of there. That's the thing. This was a yanked it apart, broke the glue, and then no big deal. We'll put it back together. We have the technology to rebuild it. We hope. that's what was being worked on. We'll move that off to the side. No more encoder errors, no more crashing so far. Let's be happy about that for a minute. Iron is out of the way. Hot air, bye. Clippers we will keep out for once we finish that. Okay. Alright, back to something more fun. We gotta strip down a computer. I need my office computer back is what I need. So we're gonna grab the stuff that we need out of here, and while we're at it, we'll slap back together my old, this is the case for an XPS 8500. We'll throw that board back in it. May have a purpose for it here in a day or so, but right now, let's yank this stuff out of here. I can actually check out chat. Let me plug in my laptop before it goes by. I don't know if I built this on a stream or not, but long story short, was bench testing a graphics card that had to refill the liquid cooler for it. Actually, I have the case in the cooler here. Check this out. I can't believe anyone ever thought that a single 120 millimeter rad, okay, get this, a single 120 millimeter fan with a water block would be enough to go into a graphics card. So that essentially sat inside this housing and piped out the side to liquid cool with 1080 Ti, which produces an enormous amount of heat. Third gen Intel processors from years ago, which a third gen was in this, would heat that up. So you're gonna try and cool a graphics card? No, 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 no. Come on, man. That's the way. Unsocket the whole USB 3 thing. Wow. So it goes like that. We'll put that back on the board at some point. Taking these little snap-in clips down just a little. So yeah, was benching that graphics card in the old XPS 8500, and it killed the processor in it. So we got a new processor, 8500 going back in here. This is 8900. I'm gonna put this in a custom inverted case and use it as a display to show people, because they always want to upgrade for whatever reason, upgrade their how do I want to say it? Upgrade pre-builts, and it's like, yeah, you can. And they're like, well, what can you do with them? Well, now they're going to have an idea, and I'll show them. My advice, though, always build something, don't buy pre-built. If you don't have to. We got quite a bit to do to this case, though. If we're going to take it back to the XPS 8500, we have to add antenna wires back in, which could prove to be more of a nightmare than not a nightmare if I didn't save them. Yeah, whether I saved them or not, I have plenty around here. I'm gonna take one quick look though. No. Mouse, antenna. Are you an antenna? No, you're not. You're a microphone. All right, we'll just pull new antenna wires out of a laptop to mod to this. Yes, there is one there. Anyhow, what's going on out there tonight? Is anybody else working on anything? What are you working on? Let me hear some stories. Right, are we free? Can we pull the board? Yes. Give me my motherboard for my new custom pre-built. Oh, antenna wires. Yes, I forgot about those. Well, let's undo those quick. Won't waste too much time on it. Actually, no. I'll leave them connected. That way we can just solder them to something and place it, find placement for it in the new case. Because those are the tiny ones on M.2 Wi-Fi cards, not the big old ones like what's going to be on what we're putting in here. So let's move you out of the way. We have a few things to pull out of our way to get our antenna wires out. Namely, they have to come out of here, out of this thing. I don't think you can see it. My head and hand is probably in the way. It's kind of like a one-way clasp. We got to pry it apart. Got one out. Let's go for number two. number 2. All right, perfect. And we have one more clip, but we have to pull some other stuff out of here first to be able to get to it. So let's do that. Power supply. Does it have to go? Maybe. Maybe not. So here's what we're looking at. I think we need to pull the power supply to get to where the antenna wires are at the top of these kind of case. I'm not certain. We could probably fish them through. Uh-oh. We might have to turn Phil on. He's popping off live. See what he's up to. Okay, so this is a task, getting these to unlock. Let's move our board to a different orientation with the antenna wires connected. You have 2 clips after you have them unscrewed that you have to reach in and find a way to press at the same time. Which is never easy. But once you press them, you can generally unlock the power supply and get it out of your way more so than not. Okay, what are we still connected to? Nothing? Alright, so we have a clip here that will unclip one way or the other to give us our antenna wires back. We have to take the front panel off if you've never torn apart an XPS case, Dell case. When you get to the front, these clips, if you have it off the edge of your bench, it's better because it kind of rolls out of there. So you start unclipping them, and then there's little like curve tabs. They're kind of like that clip into the opposite side. Once that's done, you have a lever. You can, I don't know if it's pull down, I think pull down. And then you pull the top forward, and then your whole top unit will come off. And that's where we can get to our antenna wires. We're just going to desolder them. And then install new ones quick from some laptop lid, because I believe I threw the other ones away. I'll try and give you a view of this here in a minute. Let me get the clips bent. Alright, a bit too far. Get our iron going. It's going to be very tough, but we'll try it. Let's prop this up. So any Wi-Fi antenna wire is going to have 2 points. It's kind of like coax cable. You'll have the outer braid and then an inner wire. You don't want to melt between the two. Is it soldered on the back side? I think it is. One free. Let's go for the other one. All right. Motherboard extracted. Let's put the old one back in. We got to solder some wires on quick, and they will clip on to a much older style Wi-Fi card. Hey, what a mess, what a mess. Okay, let's put our back I/O shield back in, XPS 8500. There was no I/O shield because I didn't have one for the 8900 that I upgraded and modded into this case. But I do have one now for going into a custom case. Alright, I/O shield is in. Let's clear this mess out of our way. Get our board in. Also going to have another problem to sort putting that Dell board into a custom case because Dell uses a non-standard front jumper. And I think the problem is going to be solved with a jumper, a single and a double like jumper and a couple pieces of wire. I think that's going to sort our problem, but we'll find out. I hope it solves the problem because if not, I'll have a power button cable failure message every time that computer boots, and that's not going to be fun. Alright, lined up. Lined up, lined up. I believe, yeah, I'm working off camera. Sorry. Can we turn it? Not easily, but we'll do it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, only 6? Great. I like it. I can get down with that. That's easy. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to source some antenna wires quick to solder on to that. Man, let me take one look very quickly. I always tend to save stuff like that because I'm like, you never know when you're going to need this again. But in this case, I'm going to say I threw them out. Almost 100% certain I pitched the old antenna wires. Yeah. Did I? Yes, sir. They're gone. All right. Grab new ones. Grab new ones. What are you connected to? Come here. Does that go up to a whole board? You're kidding me. Really? Hey, it might well go up to a whole board. We'll check it out quick. Broken dell hinge gone. Alright, we're not going to use this on here, but we need the wires to put back onto the little mounts on top of this. But I will use this for going into the new case. So let's go ahead and do that quick. Try and get a view close up of our Wi-Fi wires. And let's lock the focus right there, so hopefully we can see it the whole time. So these are soldered on in, yeah, this might be trickier to get off than I thought. Either way, it's coming off of there. We're going to need a clamp or so to hold it. Alright, let's try and get this off of here now. And there's a problem with heating these up like this though, is that they want to melt to that inner core. One free. Alright, ready to go to the top. I think what we'll do to avoid any type of crazy conflict is we'll trim it where that stuff was, just in case we melted that center inner core. We'll clip it off. No, it did heat up. We'll test it. If it gets bad signal, then we know we did something wrong. Usually you can get away with heating it a couple times, and as long as you don't melt it, you should be okay. I don't know what that's going to do for the rest of the case, so maybe we'd do better to clip it. We'll try it once. We're not going to fiddle with it all night. Let's route our wires now while we're here. Ouch. There's your brain, man. Yeah, no. What are you? Who are you? Come here. What are you? You're together as well, as are you. All right. I don't know. We're going to pull one more set off. Just to be safe. Hopefully ones that just go straight to an antenna and not any silly midway soldering point to route a wire for a ½ inch. And did they really? I'm gonna freak out if they did. Alright, you got me. I believe that it's connected, but where the heck does the wire actually go? Ah, yes, that's right. Lesson learned. Keep your antenna wire. If ever messing. I thought I could have it, but I'm just not going to take and look through everything I've had out in the past week. Since this has been done, I will literally just hopefully find what I'm looking for. Okay. Black. No, we should have better luck with these. That's the plan anyways. Whether it works that way or not, we'll find out soon enough. My other concern is if these white, I know the black one's definitely going to be long enough, but will the white one pass for long enough? Alright, basically useless. Go to the garbage. Route it. It's going to be a close call. We might have to scrounge on the routing method, but or cut some corners. But we'll find out. It's going to be dang close. Let's see if we can make it. It's going to be close, but we'll get it. Alright, let's spin this back around, and I'm actually going to stand it up to do this because that's the way that worked the last time I put these together. I don't know that I'll be able to show it on this camera, but we'll try. So essentially just soldering to this thing, the wire comes across and goes up to the back part and touches, and then gets soldered down. So we're going to solder the little end and solder the rest to the bottom part. Where are you? Right there. Gotta keep an eyeball on the time as well. Alright, let's attempt to put that back in. Connected. Now we can connect the bottom. Carry it through there, put it with the little squeeze tab. We're gonna clamp that down to hold the wire. And then this one is going to do a magic loop or two before it comes over to where it's needed. And it should be ready at that point where we can connect on this one. Let's hope. I'm going to lock the focus so it doesn't blur out. Here we go. Alright, so the back or the middle part soldered. Now we're going to solder the outer braid. Just heat that up quickly there. We actually need to add some. And then we'll reheat and keep it there. Alright, antenna wire soldered in. We're going to throw our top back on. Flip this down and put our front back on as well. Try and show this. So you have these way out and get your little hooks to go in where they grab hold. Once they grab hold, align it and start clipping everything together. Once you're there, you're good. Let's route our wire and put our power supply in. Let's bring that under. Clip it. That will come over here. Get snapped into this bracket, which is a pain. And we're going to skip that last little bracket there on account of we're going to be short. So we're just going to let it drop down and connect those wires for our Wi-Fi antenna. Just a hair short, probably about ½ inch. I'm not going to try and pull the wire through though and force it. I want room for the power supply to go in without issue. And putting these on is an absolute nightmare when it's in a case, but not near as bad as the smaller ones. So we'll try to clamp these on while it's in the case. There's one. Yeah, it's not going to happen that easy. Alright, we're ready for power supply at this point, I hope, I think. Alright, Dell power supply. Get out of the way. See, now with that in, we could try and get to our other clip, but I still maintain that the white wire is going to be a hair too short. If we really want it clipped, we can pull it, the adhesive, and put it on our I/O shield, but it's fine right where it is. Not gonna bother anything sitting there. We need to put our back 92mm fan in. We will plug it in first, of course, to avoid having to do that later. I'm still going to be stuck without an office computer because I'm running out of time to do that today. So At least we'll have this back together. All right. 92 millimeter fan is installed. What else? Oh, we got to run all our wiring. Yay. All right, let's go. Cold coffee. Orange saddle wire is for our optical drive. We're going to keep that because we know what that is. And then we run, yeah, we'll do it this way. Okay, let's start making sense of all this madness. All right, building up a computer. If nobody's ever done that, which is quite simple, you need your EPS connector, which is your 12-volt rail. In this case, it's just a single 4-pin. You're going to need your front panel, which this one. We'll figure out how it plugs on here in a moment and exactly where. Front panel with the missing pin goes there. Taking a look at the USB 3 up close a little bit. So front USB 2, front USB 3. We have one pin knocked out, which is that one. Yikes. All right, let's find out what else quick here we can route. So we know we have an audio jumper. Then we'll come over and route to right here. I'm gonna hide that. We should have a front USB. And yet again, another front one. So, don't know which one of these Dell intended. We're gonna keep the bundle of cables as close as we can together. We'll put one, excuse me. Yeah, right like that. We're gonna route one here. So there's one front USB, probably for the USB 2 ports top side, and then we have one more. That needs to go in this whole mess in some way, somehow. So other than your front panel connectors for your power switch, reset switch, hard drive LED, power LED, all that, and it's pretty proprietary on pre-built cases, so usually get a thing that's jumpered out like that. I'm going to connect I have a fan installed in this that doesn't belong in there, and it just runs off Molex power. We're going to keep it that way, running off Molex power, because there's no more fan headers on the motherboard that are free. you'll need your 24 pin. If your computer is old enough, it'll be 20 pin. Most modern computers are 24 pin though. And lastly, let's plug in the SATA, however you want to say it, data wire. Look at our ports, figure out which one is which. Yeah, it's not laid out good at all. Let me spin this around and take a closer look without having to tip it. So we're looking here at our SATA ports, which you can't really see. What are we laying on? Camera adapter. Okay, so they're laid out above it under the M.2 drive. Let's, I really didn't want to take that out to find out, but I suppose. Zero, 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to plug in our optical drive to 1, and we're actually going to migrate from an M-SATA over just to a regular SATA SSD. However, in case whoever ends up with this unless they want this, we're going to put the screws back in so they can just throw an old school M-SATA drive in there and boot from it. Not a bad option. I ran it like that for years, and I actually still have an operating system on here. Alright, they are threaded in. We're even going to put our card back in. Yeah, it's laughably small, but it works. There's onboard HDMI display on this unit, but even if there wasn't, or yeah, on the motherboard there's HDMI, but adding the card in adds it, and then I need to use that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2. It's not entirely a bad thing. Get a drive ready to go. We can throw, where are we going to power that? We don't want to power it from that. The drive will be mounted Oh, this has the goopy sideways one. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Maybe we will use M-SATA. The SATA power will be there. We'll get the cable plugged in for the hard drive. Have it ready to go. At this point, we should have a computer that boots. We could test it. Let's grab an SSD and just give it a shot. Which one? Who are you? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna volunteer here? So we'll take and format this quick. Run through an install of Windows 10. Where is it? Alright, 500 is our internal, just to make sure. I'm going to scroll down. Yes. Take this one and delete. Delete volume, yes. Can't delete the recovery. Can we delete? No. So we just lost that. The whole Windows partition. Alright, quickly here. I don't know how we're going to mount this other than double-sided tape, so just for simplicity's sake, we're going to plug it in and power it. These were never meant, I mean, they do have, I think there is, or the drives actually mount, they slide in. Like, you gotta think of a full-size hard drive. They literally slide in, just set here and screw there. I think they're there, here, and here, possibly. But we don't have full size. We got this little drive, so we're gonna make do with it. And then let's throw that up there to keep it out of the way for now. Attempt to anyhow. And plugged in, looks good. Make sure our antenna wire is on. They are. Grab our HDMI and USB. Do a quick install on this and get it out of the way. Let's see if USB 3 works upon a normal boot. Where can we go? Can we go over to... Give me a minute here. Where is it? Where is it? Let me see if I can bring up the capture card. I hate when everything moves. You have to start plugging all your sources back in. Let's deactivate it and reactivate it so we can see it, but can we? What is covering it? There we go. Alright, let's flip back to a different source. I like that one. Let's try and boot this thing to Windows 10. We'll use our external keyboard. F12 will be our boot menu. And we're going to boot to the ADATA USB drive. Ah, perfect. You gotta love them stressed out logos like that. We'll give it a minute, should clear up. And if not, we'll boot it the other way. Okay, so we got a slight refresh on it. We have a Windows spinner, means we're booting to our USB. Throw this crap back out of the way. Can move that off the counter. Alright, Windows 10 is up and running. Let's grab a mouse, action. If you ever, let's go back. If you're ever reinstalling Windows and you don't have a record of your product key and it's the same hardware, you can always click I don't have a product key because that hardware was already activated with the product key. It's going to reactivate. Unless you had a massive hardware change, in which case, yeah, you might have a problem. So we're going to hit next. It's going to want us to pick the drive. Space, enter. Down arrow, enter. So we're going to take and delete all these partitions on our hard drive. That was a previous install of Windows. Now that we have a blank drive, we'll just hit next, let Windows set it all up, and run through this install quick. While that is happening, I'm going to try and pop my USB 3 socket back on my motherboard. Not cool that it came off, but I can't really do anything about it. We're just going to set that there and try and get this socket to go back on. We have one pin that's knocked out. That will guide us, hopefully. Feels like they're all in. We're going to try and work this down on. The last thing we want to do is bend any of those pins. That would be horrible. And it feels like one may not be hitting. No, they're all lined up. It's just a matter of getting it to sink down. And mission accomplished. All right. So this unit, these are our antenna wires. We're going to need something to solder them to, which I think we're going to use this for in the custom case. It seems fairly simple. I know what solder points I need to match to, but I don't necessarily care about the having that big solder bridge in the center there where that one was. So let's just take and make a small loop out of this one to shorten it. I'll try and solder this together quick. Just going to go ahead and clamp that right there with one while our install is going to finish before we even get started. Shit. Not quick enough. And there it goes. Restart. Let's see if Windows boots up. We get to a successful desktop. I'm going to be okay with it. At this point, if you're doing an install, you can, I don't want to say it, pull your USB because it's going to finish up the rest. Almost where we need it. About this, we'll just bend that. Actually, pull that one back to where we need it. Let's connect this while that boots. So we're going to solder the little end on, hopefully, without issue. Alright, one antenna connected. Let's go for the other. The other is connected. Let's go for this one. Way to work, clamp. Way to work. Alright, and yes, don't ask me about internet. Yes, skip. And we're gonna say, you know what, I don't have internet right now. So we're just going to continue with limited setup. And we will put owner on here, the ever generic owner as user with no password. And let them set that up later. We're going to add a little bit of solder here. Perfect. Iron off, as we don't need to do any more soldering. We'll accept. Accept. Yes, Cortana, somebody will use you, I'm sure. Alright. And wrap. Oh, just smack the camera down. Finishing up this stream. It's going to get to the desktop and we'll be good to go. We have an antenna wire for the new computer, which I'll probably do tomorrow. All right, let's set this board out of the way and prep for the new custom case. So as soon as we hit a desktop, we're out of here. Got some other stuff happening tonight, but we'll at least finish this up. And we're at a desktop. Really don't like that we peeled that digitizer off of that, you know, but I've never tried to strip the screen out of one of those, only ever replaced it if cheap enough and an option. So live and you learn. Thankfully it was just something from the scrap pile and not an actual device. The only reason I attempted something as such was because it came from the scrap pile. This thing is going to get a load of drivers. I'm just putting the screws in the power supply. It's going to get a load of drivers, updates, and be ready as a very super cheap used pre-built for somebody if they want one. So let's hope somebody wants a computer soon. It is about as stock and basic as you can get and has an SSD in it. Dell did not offer SSDs in these, so that's about its one upgrade. And also the other upgrade would be a graphics card. Graphics cards did come in some, but were not super common. And there we have it. Let's that needs mounted down with double-sided tape. That's about the only thing that, and like to find an actual good spot for it, which could potentially be the back side there. Right there and right there. Let's do it right now. We'll put 2 pieces of double-sided tape on and then clear out of here for the day. Give me the knife. And we're just going to split a piece of 3M down the middle and then across. Get out of the fan blades. Legit. Stick that there. Find a home for the other one. We could get a 2.5 to 3.5 adapter that had holes on the bottom and screw it in place. I'm not going to add a chunk of metal to it. And this stuff is easy enough to peel off if you need to, especially when you can get under the drive like you clearly can here, because you're on the outside of it. And the game of peel the red tape, or the double-sided tape backer, not the red tape. Always fun. Alright, let's try and place this halfway intelligently, if possible. Keep that out of our fan. And we're going to keep our SATA connectors halfway visible. And there you have it. Used pre-built, nothing special. Has more cooling than it came with. And take a minute and wonder why our fan's not running, unless we just didn't put it on right. So, I guess we need to replace a fan, possibly. No. It just wants me to buzz my fingers against it and the CPU fan, that's all. Play the fan game. Here, jam your fingers into these running blades. That's what it wanted. Alright, it's on. Fan's running. Fan's running. I don't know if I missed the pin or what there. Yeah, ow. Wasn't having it. It is now. Anyhow, have a good one, people. I am out of here. We're going to put this side panel on and get on with our evening. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did. Champions, all of you. Even I get bored, though, of myself. Nice little XPS case. Not a current modern computer by any means. Like, didn't come out within the last year or so, but still a very usable, competent computer, especially with an SSD upgrade. That is just a huge quality of life improvement for any older computer. Throw an SSD in and it will make it a workable solution. We have drivers to get, Windows updates to get, and this thing will be hopefully finding a new home soon. Anyhow, thank you, and we'll see you next time.